that your team brought the belt out when you get to go live before the game even ended. Florida Gators, Texas A&M Aggies, belt to ass.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. The Florida Gators just beat the absolute living crap out of the Texas A&M Aggies at Texas A&M. And it's just one of those things where, you know what, it just feels good, right? It just feels good to be able to say that your team is so much better than the other team that you get to go live before the game even ends, right? That's a very rare thing for anybody to get to do. And the Florida Gators got to do that against Texas A&M, an absolute whooping. And most importantly, sole possession of first place in the SEC. And that just feels really good, right? Like it just feels good to know that you can look at things and say that you got sole possession of first place in the SEC, that you put absolute belt to ass. I will say I'm a little bit disappointed in two players, Ruben Chinyelu and Boogie Fland, strictly because I decided to gamble on today's game. And I win big with it, and they didn't happen. But as far as actually playing basketball, I mean, damn. What a defensive ass whooping. There's no other way to put it. It's not over yet, twin. Yeah, no, Florida was only up 20 with 16 seconds left. Who could know? I'm not bringing the belt out because it's almost 4 a.m. But the Florida Gators, now that the final score 86-67, just completely annihilated. Texas A&M, right? Who is it? Race Brewer said, "What even is an Aggie?" You know, that's the thing. I don't know what an Aggie is. I think, is it like a farmer? Is that what it is? Because the A, it's Texas Agriculture and Mechanical, right? But Florida Gators win the game 86-67. And you know what? Like, I know people are gonna hate that I just did that, but guess what? If Texas A&M wasn't so sorry out there, I wouldn't get to do that. But Florida just beat the absolute crap out of them on their own home court. And I love it. I do, because they deserve it. And Texas A&M took basically the entire game to score more than 2 points. Stop asking for the belt. It's almost 4 a.m. I'm not taking out the belt. I'm sorry. It ain't happening tonight. But man, so Florida had offensive. Let's throw this out real quick. Texas A&M had 19 points at halftime. That was the first time all season that an SEC team was held to under 20 points in the half. Okay? First time all season that an SEC team was held to under 20 points in a half. And it's because Florida was absolutely beating the crap out of Texas A&M. That first half was incredible defensively. Like, look, I know that Texas A&M is also missing open shots in the first half, right? I'm not trying to go, oh yeah, like everything was absolutely strapped, right? No. But even the open shots weren't falling, and Texas A&M was so visibly frustrated. Texas A&M was so visibly frustrated where even in the first half, you've got guys when they're open and not getting the ball. It's like me and my friends in 2K when I'm like, dude, like I'm open there. Like it's stuff like that where you got to see it, right? Yeah, Aggies over Easies for breakfast. Because, yeah, it's just absolute whooping there. Ruben Chinyelu, another double-double, 10 points, 15 rebounds. Xavier Lee, 10 points, 4 for 12 shooting. Boogie Plant, 9 points on 9 shots, 4 for 9 shooting. Thomas Houck, 22 points after having, I think it was 3 in the first half, and 7 rebounds. Alex Condon, 4 points and 7 rebounds. I'm not repeating those words, psych. Urban Klavjar shot 3 for 5 from 3 in the first half, finished 3 for 5 from 3 in the game, but I mean, he was just ripping it, right? Just absolutely ripping it. And yeah, I think that so people keep mentioning Florida's height, but it's also like double-sided because Florida has insane height. And Texas A&M is a below average height team, which is pretty rare for the SEC, right? What's not rare is Florida delivering an absolute ass whooping. That's not rare, right? That's quite common dub here at this point. Isaiah Brown, 12 points. Isaiah Brown also had just the funniest start because he was in the game for, I want to say, maybe a minute and 10 seconds. And he got fouled once, fouled twice, fouled a third time, and then he fouled someone. Isaiah Brown just came in and was like, all right, we're rugby. Like that's all it was. Ruben Chinyelu and Thomas and Alex Condon, by the way, both played basically 20 minutes. Alex Condon played 20. I know he was in foul trouble. Ruben Chinyelu was played 21 minutes, was not in foul trouble. Having a game where you get to go small as often as you did because Texas A&M has a smaller roster, and having a game where Micah Handlogton plays a significant amount so that you have less of Ruben Chinyelu. Like there was that one time where they ended up not calling the flagrant because they said that Texas A&M let him go before it would have counted. But Ruben Chinyelu, one arm wrapped by one Aggie, one arm wrapped by the other Aggie. It also was just super unfortunate because his arms were being held back. So his arms are being held back, so he couldn't, create space to get a rebound. But he also couldn't create space to get a rebound because one foot was in that guy's ass, the other foot was in that guy's ass, and he had nowhere to go. He had nowhere to go. But it's nice where, teams are going to play him really physical. Teams are going to be really aggressive. Teams are going to take cheap shots at Thomas Houck late in the game for no reason other than their whiny little punk asses that are tired of getting their asses kicked up and down their own home court. Teams are going to take those cheap shots because that's what happens when you're facing someone that's great. When you're facing someone that's so much better than you. And Florida built an ass on Texas A&M, the fraudulent former top team in the SEC on the standings. Now Florida put belt to ass. I thought Florida was already the best team in the SEC. And now you get to say, you get to actually hold your claim there. Q just said something very interesting in the chat that we're going to talk about when we get back with Locked On Gators. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff, the final chance to get in on the action before the NFL season comes to a close. I mean, for me, today, right? Because it's already Sunday for me. But in about 20-ish hours, something like that, Super Bowl 60. FanDuel's making sure you're right in the middle of it with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. So whether you're backing the Seahawks or the Patriots, hopefully it's the Seahawks, building one last same game parlay, whatever it may be. If you're a new customer, bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Make it count because after the Super Bowl season is over. So it's the last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. And tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert start to finish without the stress or guesswork. So instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert did not file for you last year, just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit TurboTax FanDuel.com/local to book your appointment today. And this is Moss is moving the game forward. Who should we give it to? Which Gator should we give it to? We're going to give it to Thomas Houck because Thomas Houck was hustling his ass off out there, right? And those are the moments that remind you what it really takes to raise the bar, right? It's that extra work off the court, dialing in every detail, giving it that extra fire, that grit, that I never quit, that you could take a cheap shot and hit me in the ribs, hit me in the back, hit me in the kidneys, wherever you're going to hit me. Guess what? I'm still kicking your ass up and down this court to take full control of the SEC. And Mazda puts that same passion into every model. Highlights make the real. What it took to get there makes it count. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you. Thanks again for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day we are available daily and free reviews of the podcast and on YouTube. The Florida Gators, belt to ass. That's it, right? All right, that's it. Belt to ass. Florida's just lighting it up right now. And Q brought something up. Q brought something up very interesting that I want to bring up here. Where was it? How far back was it? Did I just I skipped it because things happen. But Q brought up how Florida handled the full court press against Texas A&M because Texas A&M came out and they were just pressing the entire time, right? And Florida handled it great. I loved it, right? I also loved it, Q. I had a couple issues with some possessions, but it wasn't a strategic thing. It was just execution there. But I did like how Florida was basically at some points running dribble handoffs under their own basket when they're, 90 feet away. They were just, dribble handoff, get going, right? Xavier Lee has great acceleration and burst, and so he can kind of just break your angles and get going. And you couldn't really press him, you couldn't really trap him, you couldn't really catch him. And Boogie Flan just kind of physicaled his way down, right? He was just relatively unbothered, unless they were trapping. But you had times where Florida has this very, very, very unique advantage over just about every single team in the country right now, where when you full court press, I don't know why I said full court press. When you press, they can have their two guards take it up, or they can have Thomas Houck take it up, or they can have Alex Condon take it up. And it's just such an advantage to be able to say, hey, we're going to give it to the 6'11 guy, and he's going to take it up. And when you press him, he can just throw it over you because he's taller. And you just go like that. Florida drew a ton of fouls on the inbound, just throwing it up to Condon. And it's all right, well, you're smaller than him, so you're not going to be able to make a play without fouling. And that was great. I love the approach. Again, like I said, there were a couple of possessions where I was annoyed with how things went, but that wasn't necessarily anything I put on coaching. That wasn't necessarily anything I put on the strategy. It was just how things got executed on that. Like Ruben Chinulu, when he dribbled the ball up court and Alex Conlon called timeout for him shortly after passing half court, I feel like Chinulu had the ball for 2, maybe 3 seconds and then just tried to take it up himself. Whereas other times, they would get the rebound and go, all right, I'll wait 4 seconds and then I'll chuck it down to someone. So I feel like that was just a one-off, right? But Florida had 9 turnovers, the same amount that Texas A&M had, except Florida wasn't running a full court press basically the whole game, right? And that's big. Like teams running full court press last year, that full court press gave Florida fits. This time now, that's not happening so much. So I also love the way that was handled. Guard play hasn't been that bad these past 3 or 4 games. They just can't shoot well. That's really it. They just can't shoot. Boogie Flan shot 4 for 5 from 2. Would have loved it if he went 5 for 5 from 2, or would have loved it if he made another free throw and a 3 or whatever it was, right? I was just saying my parlay included him getting 11 points. Xavier Lee shot, 3 for 5 from 2, 1 for 7 from 3. I will say, I appreciate the confidence of Xavier Lee because Xavier Lee does not give an F how poorly he's shooting. He's like, if I've got the green light. If I'm open, I'm taking it. And while that's irritating as a fan, that's irritating as an analyst, I also respect it. I do. I have to say that. just want to say howdy, and I'm not going to say it because I said it last year, but maybe this year will be the double whammy. That's all I'm going to say. Todd, prove if you can win. Todd, prove it you can win the Natty back to back. Hopefully, Florida's been playing really well since their home blowout versus UGA in Tennessee. The loss to Auburn, I think, really pissed them off. Frankly, I do. I think it really, really pissed them off. Yes, the last listen every day. Brandon, are you just used to staying up till 4? I'm really not, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm really not used to it, but I was used to it during transfer portal time. And then I kind of dialed it back because I was like, all right, I don't need, because during transfer portal time, I was up until 5:30, 6 a.m. every day, would get 4 hours of sleep, come back to it. Now I don't have to do that. So I'm not going to do that. I do have to do it tomorrow because I have a ton of work to do before the Super Bowl. But yeah, that's 4 a.m. at 30 years old. I'm 2 feet in the grave at this point. Huge to have Ruben and Alex back. Condon is still just someone that's like weird to me, frankly. It really is. Like, I wish I could just say like, oh, I love how he plays, but he's just, sometimes he's playing his ass off and sometimes he's just really not. And it's just weird to me. 2 seed, here we come. Maybe. Lee and Fland can't shoot. They're not good at it. I'll say that. I will say I do like Lee. I respect the confidence, but then like Boogie only shoots if he's wide ass open. And so I kind of appreciate, like, I respect Xavier and Lee having the full green light. Like he's just like, if I'm open, I'm pulling it. I respect Boogie Flan saying I'm only pulling it if I'm really open. Like I respect both sides, or I'll say I respect Xavier and Lee. I appreciate Boogie Flans more. Honestly, my main thing is I just wish that both of them would drive more. Like that's it. Like I think that both of them, if they were driving more and slashing more, that would make this offense that much better. Especially like, I don't know. I feel like there were a couple times where Xavier and Lee where Boogie Fland had it in transition, right? Like Xavier and Lee attacked in transition. I feel like Boogie would kind of slow things down a bit. And it's like, I know that Xavier and Lee is like the speed guy, like you're not catching him. But I do think there were some opportunities missed in transition that could have just, when the game wasn't without a shadow of a doubt Florida's. I would have appreciated a bit more of just being aggressive coming downhill there. But Florida, yeah, I mean, it was just a hell of a game, a hell of an approach. I like that. Yeah, but they have no one to kick it to if they drive. Well, I want them to finish. I want you to attack. They have been slashing more. I want you to keep doing it. Like I frankly do. Like I think you could just hammer it. Especially in a time where it's like when it's Boogie, Xavier, or Boogie and Urban, we'll say, right? And it's just like, all right, let's attack, right? Like, let's attack like that. We can go light, we can get it. Because realistically, they had 7 layups. I think it's super weird to just watch, and not weird in a bad way, just weird as in like I'm still not used to it. Of like Condon being the guy cherry picking essentially. It's still something to get used to, but hey, points are points. I'll take them anyway we can get them. Dubs are dubs. I'll take them anyway you can get them. I will also say I think part of why we keep seeing Thomas Houck not have this great field goal percentage, and we'll wrap up with this. Part of why Thomas Houck doesn't have that great field goal percentage right now is he's just hammering the paint. It's like he's trying to get to the line. And when you're trying to get to the line, sometimes that is going to hurt your field goal percentage, because if you're not getting the call and finishing the play, that's going to be a miss for you, right? But like I could still respect the mindset and respect the approach to it. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free every single podcast and on YouTube. Wrote the other day for Swamp Signal, that's substack.com, by the way, if you're a Florida Gators fan that's in here and you want to see it. I wrote the other day that the Florida Gators are national championship contenders again. I'm posting it in the live chat right now just to reaffirm that the Florida Gators are once again in the national title picture. Okay. They've worked their way back. They've done it. We're going to have a damn good time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I love you all for joining me I know it's 11 p.m. Eastern time. So for most of you, it's 11 p.m. If you're anywhere in Europe or my time, right, it's 4 a.m. And I thank you all for spending these, 20 minutes with me. I thank you all for the support that we've seen with Locked On Gators, with swampsignal.substack.com. Like, I did not think that the Substack would grow to the rate that it's grown to this point. And that's just frankly bonkers to me. But I'm Brandon Olsen. I'm eternally grateful that I get to cover our program. And so for Locked On Gators, I'll see you all next time.